Hey guys, today I am joined by the Void. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that goddamn crazy? Shit, the title's still Homework. I want it to be Homework Part 2. Damn it. Edit, okay. Dude, I can edit this live. There's a part 2 to the very well received Homework stream. Because before we didn't really end things on a high note. We've still got things going here. So what the fuck am I doing here? I was on this slide. Yeah, I was. Because there are more mouths to feed. Yes, more. Okay. Next one. How would you make this new community work? I would say, look, I have the food, which means I essentially own you. Now get moving. So really what I'm looking for here is a nice dictatorship. Wouldn't that be great? That was great. Love that. No, I don't want to click to add a title. Okay. Task Part 1. Begin your fact file. What? But those other things were also tasks. Did I do this all wrong? Okay. Well. Design your own survivor's charter. What would it include? How would you decide your properties? Your priorities? Shit. How would you ensure the success of the whole group and not just individuals? This will be the first part of your fact file. The focus is on explaining the relationships we have with the wider world and how it impacts on our lives. Your fact file can be done in the form of a PowerPoint with several slides, a report that includes illustrations, or as a large poster with different parts that cover different topics you will investigate. I literally forgot exactly what was happening. I did not pay attention one bit. Here we are. Just gonna do this. Also, I don't want bullet points. and okay. What is this? The fuck is this shit? Excuse me? What the fuck? Watch the goddamn clip. What fucking click? The clip. Did it not work here too? What in the goddamn fuck is this? Do I have to enable editing? Is that what it is? Enable content. There we go. Fucking hell. Okay. Haha. they didn't enter their title, what nerds.
Let's face it, rules take the fun out of everything. Rules and regulations make it so that we can't just do whatever the hell we want without consequences. Without laws, you could take anything you wanted from someone else. You could drive as fast as you want without a seatbelt. You could also hurt.
Let's play the safer again, that was a bit too loud.
Let's face it, rules take the fun out of everything. Rules and regulations make it so that we can't just do whatever the hell we want without consequences. Without laws, you could take anything you wanted from someone else. You could drive as fast as you want without a seatbelt. You could also hurt whoever you want. But rules also protect us from a lot of things. They ensure a standard of morality for ordinary people. Without them, our society would plunge into chaos. But let's imagine, just for the next few minutes, what life would be like in a society without rules. Today, Life's Biggest Questions asks, what if the world had no laws? Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions, the channel that asks the questions everyone else is too afraid to ask. I'm Charlotte Jo.
Do you just hate it when the law tries to stop you from hitting your family?
And this is where I ask you to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and notification bell. Before I get into this video, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to...
I'm gonna quickly go onto YouTube for this.
This is how you order all this delivery food for cheap. Okay, so first, Domino's.com, choose your favorite pizza, or in my case, 4. Then click the Honey browser extension.
I usually skip the ad by this point.
To our other channel, Inform Overload, where we make news more entertaining. I also host Inform Overload, so if you need a place to get your news on YouTube, make sure you check it out. Alright, let's get into this video. What if the world had no laws? It's a pretty interesting question to say the least. Basically, the world as we know it would cease to exist. Laws have been around since the beginning of time. There might be short periods of time where a society is not governed by law, but for the most part, every historical period had them. Law is a system of rules, enforced through a set of institutions. Law is a system that regulates and ensures that individuals or a community adhere to the will of a state. Each state lays out their main laws in their constitutions. But what if there were no laws? In 350 BC, Aristotle said, "The rule of law is better than the rule of any individual." Without laws, people that are normally needed to make society function wouldn't go to work. There would be no one paying taxes to the government, so there would be no government programs that take care of things like garbage. Essentially, the street would become one big dump. There would be no sewage or water supplies because there would be no government agency making sure water supplies are safe for drinking. At the same time, there would be no one keeping criminals in jail. Murderers and rapists would be free and living amongst us. For a time, it would be complete and utter anarchy. If no one went to work, then no one would be delivering the essential needs for life. If there was no means to get people food, medicine, or other goods, the economy would collapse. Depending on where people live, the effect of an economic collapse would be different. When the economy collapsed in Argentina in 2001, and after it recovered, the government found evidence of people who were trying to survive in rural areas, but many of those people were found dead in their bunkers, their supplies looted, and their defenses struggling to keep away criminals and gangs. In a world without laws, people would be forced to grow their own food and keep livestock, but then what's to stop people from stealing that food and livestock? Not much. Private farms would have to be well protected to prevent thefts. Those who do manage to steal from these private farmers would sell the food at outrageous prices. The problem of finding food would be even worse in cities. People who live in cities rely on imports from airports, highways, harbors, and railways, which wouldn't be functioning in a society without laws. So how would people who lived in cities get their food? Simple. They wouldn't. For a time, people would raid abandoned stores for supplies, and this would sustain people for a time, but not forever. Let's not forget that going out in public in a society without laws is dangerous. People would live out their days in hiding, and only come out at night under cover of darkness to look for food. But accessible food that isn't being replenished would run out eventually, especially if everyone was taking it and fighting for it. After there was no food left, mass starvation would occur. Similarly, shops and stores can't operate in a society where everyone is armed and looking to steal things. For this reason, most shopping would have to be done online. But then, many thefts would still take place. How could items be delivered if there were no laws? People would still need to work, to package and deliver items, but without laws preventing them from stealing, what would stop them from doing so? Nothing. Most people probably wouldn't go to work in the first place. Essentially, without laws, a society can't function. There would be no police or courts to enforce those laws. Hospitals would become very dangerous places. For this reason, many people would have basic medical training in case of an accident or attack occurs. In a society without laws, everyone would have combat training and be armed with weapons because there would be no one to protect civilians. Essentially, in this world, guns would rule, and whoever had the most guns would be the leader. Just because there are no laws, that doesn't mean there wouldn't be a hierarchy and some sort of social structure. People would break off into tribes because they're seeking peace, but the strongest, most powerful, and most feared would become the leaders of those tribes. Mafias and criminal organizations would hold the most power. They already operate without fear of repercussion. Imagine what life would be like if there were no laws. In exchange for some form of taxes, the leader of these tribes would provide protection and food. In some way, there would still be laws, but they would be crafted by those most powerful. There would be no rational justice, and repercussions for breaking the rule of law would be much harsher. If you stole from someone, for example, the consequences would be torture or even death. At the same time, the weak people in a society would be the most vulnerable. I'm talking about the sick and the elderly, who would most likely be left behind to die. In a lawless society, everyone fends for themselves. One can't afford to take care of someone who's sick or old when you can barely take care of yourself. For the most part, people don't want to be living in fear all the time. Some sort of structure would take shape because social order is necessary for survival. What do you think would happen if the world had no laws? Let us know in those comments. For now, I'm Charlotte Jobre, and you've been watching Life's Biggest Questions. If you enjoyed this video, you'll love the playlist that's clickable on the screen right now. Make sure notifications are turned on by clicking the bell, and we will see you in a future episode of Life's Biggest Questions.
Life's Biggest Questions. That was epic. I'm gonna like and subscribe right now.
I'm a serious gamer.
Guy on your left. Watch out,
The
watch out.
notifications.
But I don't play games with my money. That's why I shop online with Honey. See all this gear? Honey saved me money on all of it. 70 bucks on this right here. Bam. What's that? Will Honey save you money? Yeah. Honey scans the web for promo codes and applies them for you, so you don't have to break your wallet going pro.
So
It only took 2 clicks to add the button to my browser.
I only took
Bam.
2 clicks to add
Savings.
the button
Honey
to
works
my browser.
automatically on thousands of sites like GameStop, Dell,
that's
and Newegg.
really
Honey
cool.
saved me money on this chair. On my drink fridge. Miss Babbitt. I like savings. Honey has already saved people over $1 billion. That's just crazy.
That's just crazy.
Think of all the savings.
Add the browser extension in just 2 clicks. Honey's found over $1 billion in savings on over 30,000 sites. Add Honey for free at joinhoney.com.
That was a PewDiePie chair. They put a PewDiePie chair in the goddamn thing. Anyway, yeah.
If the sky is suddenly covered with clouds and it begins to rain cats and dogs, we hurry to get under cover. Even in summer, it's not very pleasant to get soaked to the skin. And when the bad weather has passed, it slips our minds and we think not about it happening again. But what if precipitation, rain, really did disappear from our lives forever?
Okay, this is not what I want to happen. Go fuck yourself. Well, that's a thing. What do you think would be the worst thing about living in a world with no rules? What about the best thing? Living in a world with no rules. The worst thing would be... Well, for me, because I live in a rural area with not much going on, it's like a bunch of old people, right? I wouldn't really have to worry about anarchy too much, because I could just kick Grandma in the face. Absolutely pelt her. You know? You get me? Feel my vibe? So, I reckon... Yeah, it's not anarchy. That's not something I'm really worrying about. The only bad thing is I'm gonna have to get my own food. Not actually just go to the store. Like, that'd be kind of annoying. So yeah, the worst thing would be getting food from the wild. Like a fucking hobo. Damn. Feels bad. Feels bad. Okay. That's a bit big writing, not gonna lie. That's better. Yeah, that'd be the worst thing. Now, what's the best thing? How does this relate to our lives? I've got a pretty simple answer for that. Oh, that's a pretty simple answer. The worst thing and the best thing. So what's the best thing for the worst thing? The best thing would be kicking Grandma's face in. Best thing would be hurting whoever you want. Damn. That's my favourite part about this video right here. It's just like...
Let's face it, rules take the fun out of everything. Rules and
So it says rules take the fun out of everything, right?
Let's face it, rules take the fun out of everything. Yeah, rules and regulations make it
out of everything.
Whatever the hell we want without consequences. Without laws, you could take anything you wanted from someone else. You could drive as fast as you want.
See? It literally, like, shamelessly describes stealing and hurting people as fun.
Without a seatbelt. You could also hurt whoever you want. But rules also protect us from a lot of things.
What, like other people hurting us? What the fuck? This person literally actively describes this as fun.
Regulations make it so that we can't just do whatever the hell we want without consequences. Without laws, you could take anything you wanted from someone else. You could drive as fast as you want without a seatbelt. You could also hurt whoever you want. But
actively describing it as fun. What the fuck? Okay. Well, that's that. I'm gonna get back to the void for a bit. Don't you guys love the void? Is the void? drink that. Actually, nah, it's fine, it's fine. We cool. Just put it in like that. Whoa, what? I didn't want to record. That's not the thing I wanted to do. Oh yeah, this is the void. That was good. Anyway, that's that. So, the best thing, as we were saying, the best thing would obviously be oh, you know what's epic response? School's out, kids. Hell yeah. Feel like such a retard putting that there, but there you go. That's my answer. Okay, next thing. The best thing would be no school, kids. Easy questions, dude. Easy questions. Fuck, I clicked that. Read the sheet. The worst boy in school. What does this tell us about the importance of... Okay, so I've got to go over here. Worst boy in school story. Here we go. There we go. The worst boy in school. The name on the door said Mr. H. Newman. So what the fuck is this? What is this? What is that? I'm gonna give it at least, it's gonna... Wait a second, I can fill it. It's very confusing. Anyway, yeah, I just want to give it a nice border. We get a border. Oh yeah, format picture. Gonna give it a glow. It's gonna be bright blue. Oh, would you look at that? Sexy. Sexy glow. Can't goddamn drag it. Why won't it let me drag it? Bullshit. Bullshit. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that real quick. Size is going to be so big, super big. Actually, no, I can't be bothered with this shit. Here we go. Just read the goddamn thing, okay? Don't get distracted. The name on the door said Mr. H. Newman, M.A., M.E.D., head teacher, King David Jewish Second School. Oh no, he's Jewish, can't do that. God damn, do I hate Jewish people. Well, I've got a bit of a break now, because 45 minutes, and then 15-minute break, and then another 45 minutes of doing the stuff. But here we are. What should we watch? How to make first contact. Let's see how they do this, since we haven't made first contact yet. I can't hear these people. I can see that they're talking, but I can't hear them. Wait, what the fuck? I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything. Oh shit, I heard that. I'm quite confused. That's not a good thing.
The aliens alone.
The page was
But in
muted.
almost every one of those historical examples, it's the civilization that makes contact. When discussing first contact, many are quick to point out that historically, contact between culturally different civilizations has almost always led to the destruction of one of those civilizations. Because of this, you could argue that we should stick to ourselves, leave the aliens alone. But in almost every one of those historical examples, it's the civilization that makes contact that destroys the civilization that receives contact. So perhaps we should go on the offensive, find the aliens before they find us. Of course, we've been trying for decades to find extraterrestrial life.
Yes,
it's one of
that's
humanity's
how it
great
works.
questions. Are we alone? One way we might find aliens is by looking at stars, or more specifically, the light level of stars. As the Earth has developed, our energy consumption has skyrocketed. That's just a consequence of an increasingly technologically advanced world. It's suspected that this trend will continue, and it's also suspected that with any alien civilization, they'll also require more and more energy as they advance. Eventually, any planetary civilization will reach a point where the amount of energy on their planet is not enough to sustain their advancing civilization. Theoretical physicist Freeman Dyson speculated that when a planetary civilization needs more energy than their planet can provide, they'll turn to the sun. Stars are the most abundant source of energy in any planetary system, so a super advanced civilization could build a series of satellites to orbit around their sun to collect energy. When sunlight travels through space, it loses energy, and so the amount of energy captured by a solar panel near the sun would be astronomically higher than a solar panel on Earth. With more energy, a civilization could produce more satellites, and eventually there would be a swarm of satellites orbiting the sun. Freeman Dyson believes that this is the most logical way that any civilization would harvest the energy they need. So if we search for a star with orbiting satellites, we might be able to find an alien civilization. No telescope is powerful enough to see the individual satellites.
This is actually shit. Oh, anyway, that's that. Done. Oh shit, I don't want that. Here we go, worst boy in school. This is it, thought Toby. I've had it now. The door opened and Toby was shown into Mr. Newman's office. He stood to attention as the head teacher sat down behind his desk and began to speak. You must be the worst boy in this school, Toby. I can't begin to count the number of things you've done. Fighting, swearing, calling people names, graffiti, and look at the state of you. It's like something the cat's dragged in. Where's your kipper? How many times have you been told? You know very well that kippot ought to be worn. What the fuck is that? What is that? Ought to be worn at all times. Then there was the time you rang 999 to say the school was on fire. Where did you get that brilliant idea? Look at me when I'm talking to you. You are not allowed to bring any food into school apart from fruit. Well, okay. This school takes the rules of Kashrut very seriously. No non-kosher food is brought onto or consumed in these premises. That is a promise we make to our parents. It's one of the things that makes this school special. But there's you, not 2 days ago, bringing non-kosher chocolate bars into the school, giving pieces to other students. What's your mother going to say when she finds out? Or any of the other good Jewish mothers whose children were involved? 6 weeks ago, you promised faithfully that that things were going to change. Has it? Not one bit, as far as I can see. Just what are we going to do with you? Well, that was that. Pardon me. Here we are. So, read the sheet. The worst boy in school. What does this tell us about the importance of rules in places like school? Tells us that if we don't enforce the rules, kids will be eating non-kosher food left, right and centre. Goddamn non-kosher eaters. Goddamn. I hate them so much. They're so bad. Worst kind of people. Next thing. What does this tell us about the importance of rules? Oh shit, I just said this. I fucking hate myself so much. Okay, now consider these questions. Why does there need an extra bullet point? What a retard. This teacher is a retard. What different types of rules were broken in the story? Ooh. Clothing rules. I hate it when my children wear the wrong clothes. Food rules. Oh yeah. Which ones were religious or faith-based? Which ones were religious or faith-based? I don't know. Which ones were religious or faith-based? Was it the... It was... Oh, those things are probably like some Jewish shit that I don't know about. Dude. That's pretty insane. He broke the rule and he's not worn his kippah. He didn't wear his kippah. He didn't wear his kippah. I cannot believe it. Can you believe it? No. Bet you can't. He didn't wear his kippah. Damn it. He didn't eat kosher food. Damn you, Toby. Damn you. The name on the door said Mr. H. Newman. M.A. M.E.D. Head teacher. King David Jewish Secondary School. Okay. Oh, it's called Kashrut. The rules of Kashrut. Sounds like a cult. Also, he uses mobile phone. Mobile phone. Use it. Find out the 10 commandments are. Okay, I've got to try to not be racist, yeah? I'm gonna try very hard. You know, you can slip up and you can just say something that could be seen as quite racist, you know? It's something that a lot of people do. See, I have a friend called Danilo, you see? And one day, he slipped up. And he may have done a little bit of an oopsie. He said nothing. He said nothing. I had to private 2 videos and he said nothing. What are the 10 commandments? Here we are. You shall have no other gods before me. Damn, no sluts, no religious sluts. You shall not make idols, no idols.
How you doing, Lassie boy?
You shall not take... Oh, I'm doing great, Dad. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain.
What are you doing this for?
Remember the
homework?
Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Is this your homework?
Yes.
Really?
Honor your father and your mother.
That's right, boy. Commandment number 5.
Yeah, by the way, this
Why you got your
is
headphones on?
Ari work. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. So it's okay to bear false witness against anybody else, just not your neighbor. Okay? You shall not covet. What does that even mean?
Don't want things that aren't yours. That's also what's against others. I don't know where this neighbor can do something interesting. Your neighbor. Against others. Who are you online
Okay.
with? Why you got your headphones on?
I'm not online with anybody, Dad.
You listen to music.
No.
So how's your schoolwork going?
It's going great, Dad.
Have you
Look
had
at
have
this.
you got your 45-minute timer going?
No, I haven't had it going. I managed to miss out on quite a bit of break. It's very sad. So sad.
You need to remember to take a break after 45 minutes. You can set up a 45-minute timer app on your computer.
Oh,
Download a timer app.
okay. Let's go.
Then your
Download the timer app.
The computer will give you an alarm. So
Okay.
You start your course, you go on, the alarm goes off, you can either stop or continue for another 5 minutes or whatever, but you have to take at least a 10-minute break, okay?
Okay.
I want you sitting there doing the same thing with endlessly.
Find out about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Find about the commandments of Jesus. I'm gonna do this last one, then I'm gonna end the stream. Dun 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 dun. What's the thing that I've got to do? I don't read the thing that I've got to do. Okay. On Universal Declaration of Human Rights, here we go. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Universal Declaration of Human Rights by the United Nations. %81 liked this book. Imagine disliking the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Just kidding, I'm also going to dislike it. Hated that book. So bad. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So shit. So shit. No thanks, I wouldn't like to subscribe to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We are all born free and equal. Don't discriminate. The right to life. No slavery, no torture. You have rights no matter where you go. We're all equal before the law. Your human rights are protected by the law. No unfair detainment. The right to trial. We're always innocent till proven guilty. The right to privacy. Freedom to move. The right to seek a place to live. The right to nationality. Marriage and family. The right to your own things. You know what? How about we get rid of this one for the name of Mother Russia? Freedom of thought. We all have the right to believe in what we believe, to have a religion or change it if we want to. Freedom of expression. The right to public assembly. All that was taken away. The right to democracy. The right to social security. Workers' rights. The right to play. Oh damn, he looks pretty. He's stunting. He looks pretty drippy bled. Food and shelter for all. The right to education. Copyright. Fair and free world. They put this picture in the fucking hallway of my room, like, not in my room, yeah, basically, they fucking put this picture here in my school, right? This girl just fucking staring at you, saying, free world, responsibility, no one can take away your human rights. Oh, isn't that crazy? I don't care. Just kidding, I do care. But still. What are the commandments of Jesus? Commandments. Of Jesus. Jesus, yes. When asked which is the greatest commandment of the Christian New Testament, speaks Jesus. What do you mean? Commandments of Jesus. Jesus said, if ye love me, keep my commandments. John 14:15 KGV. As you study these commandments, orders of Jesus, it will become evident that God is not the only God of grace. He is also the God of expectations. Obeying the commandments of Jesus will bring rewards. For example, ye must be born again. June 3, 7. Is considered to be one of the commandments of Jesus. Those who obey receive eternal life. The Old Testament commandments beautifully teach what God considers to be sin, but they require perfection, and no person has ever been perfect, so it can only bring condemnation. However, Jesus, being the Son of God and therefore perfect, could add, he's perfect. Remember that time when you said you should stone gaze? Perfect. And therefore perfect could did live up to the requirements of the Old Testament law, and by doing so was qualified to die in the place of all who would accept him as their saviour. There is now no condemnation for those who are in Jesus Christ. Room 8. What? Rom 8, okay. What the fuck does that mean? Jesus paid it all. Jesus paid it all. Yeah, Jesus paid it all. The greatest commandment. Jesus was asked, Teacher, what is the greatest commandment in law? Jesus replied, Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. The second is like it. Love your neighbour and yourself. Where was I? All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. The golden rule. So in everything do others what you would have them do to you, for this sums up the law and the prophets. When you stand praying, forgive. Yeah, that's about it. Yep, there's no more things to do with Jesus. That's all of what Jesus did. Yep, this is all Jesus did. Look, wow, look, I did my homework. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Well, I guess I'll end it now. On a high note, you know. Religion is lit, not gonna lie. And now you get to see the delay of my streaming software when I shake this, because it makes it look like a string that's wobbling near the end. I mean, it's pretty good delay, but it's just not good at all. Just kidding, it's actually alright delay. But yeah. I'm just gonna end it there then. Bye guys.